Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, we're making a video for the SCL for the topic nervous and muscular system for the title the electrifying and the transmissions. Okay, for the group members, we have Amirul Hakim, Arif Zikri, Nabil Safwan, and Sharil Afzal. For the content, actually, we will talk about the introduction, how neural message is translated, and the disorder, and this is from the neuromuscular junction, and also its treatment. For the introduction, what actually neuromuscular junction? It's actually analogous to the synapse between the neurons. It's also called manual junction, which serves as chemical communication between a fiber and a muscle cell. For a simple sentence, it's actually tell how does our brain tell our muscle to contract, or the junction where the motor neuron talk to the muscle cell. So for the substance involved in the next slide, which is the substance that involves is sodium ion, calcium ion, neurotransmitter that specializes as acetylcholine in the terminal axon from the presynaptic. For the postsynaptic is muscle, calcium channel, sodium channel, microplasmic reticulum. Okay, for the next step is actually they are going to the signal catch away from the motor neuron from our brain to the axon terminal, and then this causes of the influx of sodium ions. For the easier, we will see the picture from the next slide diagram. Okay, this is actually the influx of the calcium ion in the vesicle that contain the neurotransmitter cause the acetylcholine on neurotransmitter bring out to the synaptic cleft. Okay, for actually there are in the postsynaptic there are characteristics when they will be easier to absorb because they have large surface area. For the next slide, we pass to the next person.
Okay. I'm going to present for the next slides. So you guys can pause here if you want to read, but I'm going to explain the next slide. Okay. So after the release of acetylcholine in the synaptic cleft, is to say that the sodium channel receptor in here have a receptor which is called the nicotinic acetylcholine receptor, which we will use it as an ACHR here. So the acetylcholine will bind to the receptor and cause the natrium to influx into the muscle as ions. Okay. After that, after the influx of sodium ion, the calcium will enter the muscle cell. And after the calcium ions is sufficiently enough in the muscle, this process is called voltage calcium release. Okay. So in the next slide, so it's the same. If you guys want to read, you can pause the video, but I'm going to explain the next slide. Okay. So after the calcium enter into the muscle cell, it's decided there is sarcoplasmic reticulum here, which is a reservoir. Is have a bunch of calcium ions in here. Okay, so how are we going to address the calcium? So we can contract the muscle. There is a protein bind to the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So when we have a calcium ion in this muscle cell, this calcium ion will bind to the protein and causing the calcium ion to be released from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So when we have the high concentration of calcium ions, this will cause the muscle to contract. Okay, but there's another thing. The muscle is just not contract by itself. It is connected by gap junction, which connected to the other cell. This gap junction functionally really well. Why? Because the muscle is called in the state of syncytium. So what is the syncytium? Syncytium is the synergy which other, which is syn. You see. So when the muscle is syncytium, when one muscle contract, the other muscle will contract too. And also in this process, the calcium ion will also enter into the other cell to contract. Okay. So I'm going to pass to the next presenter.
Okay, and now I will talk about neuromuscular junction disorder and disease. Next slide. So the first disease is the myasthenia gravis. It's a neuromuscular disorder, and is primarily characterized by muscle weakness and muscle fatigue, and it may occur at any age. The symptom is when it develop weakness and drooping of the eyelids, and the weakness of eye muscle cause in double vision. In myasthenia gravis, your immune system produce antibodies that block or destroy many of your muscle receptor site for neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Next slide. So the second disease is botulism, which is caused by bacteria that called Clostridium botulinum, which produce a dangerous toxin that called botulinum toxins under low oxygen condition. The botulinum toxin block nerve function and can lead to respiratory and muscular paralysis. Human botulism may refer to foodborne botulism, infant botulism, wound botulism, and inhalation botulism or other type of intoxication. And the foodborne botulism caused by a consumption of improperly processed food is rare, but if it happens, it will call fatal. Next slide. And the last disease that I will talk about is the Eaton-Lambert syndrome, which is a disease that the immune system attacks attack the body own tissues. It's occur at the neuromuscular junction and interferes with the ability of nerve cells to send signal to the muscle cells. This condition is a certain type of cancer called a small cell lung cancer. And the syndrome may result from your body's effort to fight the underlying cancer. And in some remaining cases, the Lambert-Eaton syndrome developed following another autoimmune disease like weak muscle, which it relief temporarily after exercise or exertion, trouble walking, tingling sensation in the hands or feet, eyelid drooping, fatigue, and dry mouth. And I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, so for the last part is the treatment for neuromuscular junction disorder or disease. So next. The first one is the symptomatic treatment, which is to increase the amount of acetylcholine available at the neuromuscular junction. Second one is the antitoxin, whereby the antitoxin reduces the risk of complications, and the antitoxin will attach itself to toxin that is still circulating in your bloodstream and keeps it from harming your nerves. And the example of antitoxin is the botulism antitoxin. So the last one is the plasmapheresis, which this involves in replacing the plasma in your blood, and this removes harmful immune system proteins from your blood that may be involved in the condition. So the picture below the plasmapheresis is generally how therapeutic plasma exchange works. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening. So today we will have a little bit session on neuromuscular junction, the electrifying and the transmission. So first of all, I want to thank Jasmine Akmal bin Jamil for being my interviewee for this session. So as an athlete, how the painkiller gave effect to your muscle when you were injured?
So actually, painkiller will limit the production of prostaglandin from arachidonic acid.
Okay, so my second question is, how faster a reaction time give effect in your neuromuscular junction?
So the faster the reaction time, the higher the efficiency of neuromuscular, because the nervous system properly recruit the correct muscle to produce and reduce force, as well as to dynamically stabilize the bone structure.
Okay, so my last question is, do your exercise gives better functional in neuromuscular junction?
Excuse me.
Do your exercise gives better functional in neuromuscular junction? Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. So exercise cause, yes. So exercise cause hypertrophy of neuromuscular junction and improves recovery and peripheral nerve injuries.
Okay, so thank you for being my interviewee for today, and let's have more talks in another session. Thank you, Jasmine. So this is the end of our presentation today, and thank you for watching and hearing our presentation video. We hope that it will help you to understand more about this topic. Thank you.